Recently, I was asked, what is it, or how is it, that you find your home on this place called Earth? How is it that you find a place where you belong? How is it where you find a place where you feel safe? How do you know where that is for yourself as an individual? Well, I can only speak from my personal perspective. And from what I see, there are those who are born into this world and have been given on a silver platter a place called home, a place where they felt like they belonged, where they were not criticized or torn down, where they were safe and comfortable, or at least taken care of enough to experience those things. But what do we do when we do not have that place, when we were not born in that place? What do we do when we cannot currently find that place? People who were given a home, people who experienced that unintentionally, who did not consciously create that situation, it was created for them. And whenever somebody is experiencing home, they are not experiencing an external situation as much as they are experiencing an internal situation. I can speak from experience, having been given a place called home, having been given that and that created for me. I was not home within myself, and therefore, for a small period of my time, rejected that place. Because something inside of me did not feel that it belonged. Something inside of me did not feel that it had safety. Even though I did. And I had enough of it to be able to accept it. And frankly speaking, there was a part of me that did not belong. There was a part of me that was not accepted. As I grew older and I could see things a little better because I understood myself a little better, I came to realize that home and belonging, as much as you can be given an opportunity to experience that, eventually becomes something you create. It has to come from within. Home has to come from an internal sense, an internal being. Similar to being alone. If you feel alone in a room full of people, you feel alone because inwardly you are in a state of being in an experience of aloneness. Similarly, if you are looking for a home but cannot find a place where you belong, you are in an internal state of not experiencing those things. It can be very, very painful, extremely painful, to not feel a place where you belong. It can be even more painful to see that there are opportunities that there are possibilities to experience community in a way that is home-like, and not be able to reach out and take hold of it. Or to see there's an opportunity where people could make you feel at home, but they do not take the actions that would allow you to feel that in that place. So we can take the outlook of saying, I need home to be created for me. And I understand that. And especially if that was never given to you, it is all the more tempting to look for it from another place. Because who wants to totally build something from scratch? Everybody wants something to be there. And if you are already at your limit, if you are already just getting through life, then of course you want something to be provided to you in that way. You want it to come from the outside. You want to look and say, oh, there it is. Home is over there. And you just want to go there and be there. Because that feels good. And if you don't feel good, that's exactly what you would want. But when we really face reality and we face what we can control, what we are in control of is ourselves. And if we do not feel home within ourselves, if we cannot be by ourselves and experience a kind of harmony where we do not hurt ourselves with our mind, and we do not take ourselves to places that are painful, if we don't feel home within us, then it's very likely that even if home is right around the corner, we may miss it. Even if a sense of community and belonging is right in front of us, we may miss it. Because within ourselves, we do not feel that we belong. Now, I am a mystic, and what I mean by that is I experience everyone as a part of who I am. I experience one with the source of creation itself. I experience looking into the face of another and seeing me looking back. It is just my reality. It was not always that way. Things became that way over time. But it becomes more and more intense of an experience as I look within myself more and more. I personally, as an individual, found home one day when I was looking at the moon, sitting on my meditation rock, and suddenly realized that this universe, this place that I looked around and saw, was me. It was my body, because without it, I would not exist. And like an apple that was being grown out of an apple tree, I myself was sprouting out of this reality, out of this existence. And I saw the moon up there, realizing that it was just as much an essential part of my existence as was the space surrounding it. It was when I saw that I saw that this is my responsibility to deal with. This is me, and I'm conscious. And consciousness, to my understanding, is the only thing that can do anything about the situation. But what can I do about the whole earth? I can't change it. I can't change people. And so I've come to gravitate towards the concept that For the most part, the only thing I can control directly is myself. And the only place that I can make home 100% my way is myself. I can take control of my body and my mind, my thoughts, my actions, my perspective, my paradigm, my attitude, that those are the only things I can control directly. And so if I am going to create a place called home for me, I'm going to have to start with my world. I'm going to have to start with me. And maybe if I change myself, and I'm truly honest with what I want, and I look at it, and I take responsibility for what I want, maybe if I change myself, I am changing the world. Just a smaller part of it. But I'm changing the part of it that has power to do something about the world itself. I'm no longer being a part of the problem, I'm being a part of the solution. And so I want to be compassionate and understanding that finding a place called home is not an easy path, especially when we are looking for home as an outward experience, an experience that is provided by others. And I also want to acknowledge that depending on the cards that you were given at birth, your ability to create home for yourself may be exceptionally hard because there's a lot of thoughts swimming around in that mind of yours that you never wanted there in the first place. But when you look at the world and you see that this is a part of my body, this is a part of who I am, I could not exist without it. You also could not have existed without the others that are existing around you. They are a part of the grand equation, and you all popped out of the tree at once. And so something that is in them resonates with something that is in you. And the harm that has been caused is now in you, and you have to deal with, as unfortunate as that is. And nobody can do it for you. And this is hard. I don't want to say that this is an easy thing. But we might as well start working on the things that we can control. If we're going to set our gaze on anything, it might as well as be on things that we have the most influence over. And if we so choose, we can set our time and attention on how we think, taking responsibility for our thoughts, taking responsibility for our actions. And we can turn our gaze inward and create a place that is lovely and beautiful inside of ourselves. That as ugly as things may be, we can write within ourselves a beautiful story. I sincerely care for you. And I continue to look inside myself, creating myself the way that I would like it to be. Creating home within me, and therefore having an effect outside of me as well. And I think as big as a thing that might be, creating a place of belonging and dealing with the traumas and the issues of the past, as big as that can be, it's always good to remember that taking small, tiny steps towards the direction we want to go is the way. It's not by wanting to be all better tomorrow. It's by it's by recognizing one tiny thing that you do that makes you feel not at home within yourself. One tiny aspect of yourself that is harming and hurting you. And taking focus and consistency and applying those to that pain or that issue and making it the way that you want it to be. take tiny steps if you do not feel at home. Tiny, tiny steps. And be kind to yourself. Be the kindness to yourself that others were not to you. Be the understanding that you did not have. And you will see that when you really work on yourself, it'll be more clear as to what direction home is on the outer world. It'll be more obvious that these individuals who I want affection from are not really individuals who are going to give me affection. And those individuals who are kind of minding their own business, maybe I should go interact with them. Maybe they'll be more open. It'll be more clear when you know yourself which direction you should go on this planet to find home. This is the voice of Melchizedek. This is my transmission. And if you are interested in more of the things that I have to say in my individual perspective, then you're welcome to subscribe and join this channel and ask me more questions. Thank you.